and I really want this job. Well, I didn't say, well. Hey guys, what's up? It's Kez here. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to be talking about the interview process. So this part is probably the most nerve-wracking part for everyone. My interview was on March the 26th. I interviewed in Auckland at my university. So the first thing that I recommend you do is your preparation stage. So this is preparing for your interview, and the way that you do that is obviously organizing your transport, organizing what you're going to wear, make sure it's clean before the date, making sure that you have everything that you possibly need for the interview, maybe your resume, your cover letter. Also, I think it's really important for you to prepare possible answers to possible questions that they might give. You don't want to be that person who's just like in the interview just like goes blank. Also, you don't want to be that person after the interview is just like, oh damn it, I wish I had said that. And I will be talking about the actual questions that I got asked in my interview later on in this video. The next thing that I recommend you do is to find your transport. So for some people this will be a little bit different. You might have to fly in the night before, to fly in the day of, you might have to drive, you might be really lucky and you have to walk. Just make sure that you are there on time. So now we're going to talk about what to wear. So at the end of the day, it really is up to you, but I recommend you look as professional as possible. It is better to overdress than it is to underdress. You still need to show that you're actually taking this job seriously and you're not going in there like casual. Now, you also want to show that you're actually making an effort. Now, my recommendations for you, if you're a female, is to wear what a George Seymour student would wear, what an air hostess would wear, but not like tight, or what a professional worker such as a banker, a lecturer, a teacher would wear. If you are going for a professional role, you want to be dressed professionally. It only makes sense, right? The first thing that I wore was this black blazer, which is actually like a dark grey, and I was a little bit wary of the sleeves here, but I mean, they're pretty much fine. If you guys see that? I also wore these black dress pants, so like typical dress pants. For shoes, I recommend wearing flats. Even if you're a really short person, wear flats, because there's nothing more unprofessional than someone who's wearing 10-inch hooker heels. Just don't wear like sneakers and chucks and things like that. Now for hygiene, I do recommend you have a shower before your interview. You just want to make the interview as pleasant as possible. I also recommend using this stuff. This is called perfume. For those people who don't use it, you could use anything. Yeah, you just want to spray that on. And when I say spray it, I mean spray it. Don't tip a whole bucket over your head and then just marinate in the stuff, because that will have the opposite effect that you're looking for. Hair, if you're a girl, I wore mine up in a bun with one of those bun perfecting things. And also hair color, don't go in with green or pink hair. I wore a minimal amount of foundation. I wore neutral colors that complemented my skin tone, such as browns and things like that. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to be talking about the presentations. Just in terms of like the way people are dressed, don't be intimidated when you first walk into the room, because for the presentation, some people are there just for the presentation. They are not interviewing, they just want to see what the job is about and maybe apply for next time. You also need to bring a form of ID. Yeah, so that's basically just so that they can tell that you are who you say you are, and you didn't just get someone who was good at interviewing to interview for you. Now we're going to talk about the presentation. The presentation runs for about 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, so I've got a few things on my blog that I'm going to talk about what the presentation included. It was about the history of the company, about how many businesses they own, also about the resorts and the parks and stuff that they own. They talk about housing, so the complexes that you can stay in and costs and things like that, and like occupancy rooms. They talk about the costs, so the cost of visa, medical insurance and stuff like that. Perks, the facilities. So for example, when I say perks, I mean the freebies that you get, so free admission to the parks, 40% to 50% on the resorts, like going for free to housing events and stuff like that, and free food, grocery bingo. And they also showed us videos of previous international workers, and then they also got 2 previous CPs or 2 previous workers to come in and actually talk to us. They also talk about pays and again the eligibility requirements and stuff to actually apply. Now I want to talk about the interview, which is probably the part that you guys are most interested in, and again I'll be looking down because I have everything. I don't want to miss out anything that could be of vital importance to you guys. I got Carrie Ann, which was the new girl who was a housing events manager, so she runs all the events for our housing events and stuff like that. So basically when I went in there, she shook my hand and then she said, you know what, this is going to be a comfortable chat, you don't need to stress, don't be nervous, like it's going to be totally fine. And she also said that she'd be looking at her computer, looking at my role checklist. She said that I'll be looking at my CV and all that kind of stuff on her computer, and she'll also be making notes. So yeah, she pretty much said that I shouldn't be like taking offense that she's not looking at me. For about half the time she was looking at her computer and asking me questions about it and stuff like that. So now I'm going to talk about the interview questions that I got asked. Tell me about yourself, what my work experience is, how you would make a guest feel safe. You give me an example of when I made a guest feel safe. When do I graduate? Would I feel comfortable dealing with cash and other forms of currency? Would I get along with roommates? With my roommates, how would I resolve an issue? If I had any piercings, if I had any tattoos, if I was capable of lifting heavy things, if I was okay with cleaning products, if I was okay with a mandatory police background check, if I was okay with a mandatory drug test. And at the end she asked, as most interviewers do, if I had any questions for her, which I recommend you ask her questions. And then after that you have done your interview. So congratulations for that. And honestly, you'll find it is so much easier and more relaxed than you actually think it will be. They are so nice and so lovely, and it's very chilled, relaxed, chatty feeling of an interview. Yeah, so at the end of the day you'll receive an email pretty much thanking you for interviewing, and that they will let you know very soon on whether you got accepted or not. So I'll see you guys in my next video. I love you guys heaps. Bye.